You already know what time it is, man. The young goat in the building. Make sure you tune in to True Hill Heat Podcast.
Hello everyone, it's the hardcore legend Mick Foley wishing a nice day to everyone there, right there at True Heel Heat. Yeah! What's up, True Heel Heat? True Heel Heat. What's up? True Heel Heat. All hands is on me.
What's going on, everybody? This is your former AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Once a champion, always a champion. Swerve Strickland. Whose house? Swerve's house. You're watching True Heel Heat Podcast.
Hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3, and we got a brand new intro video because we are live on a Tuesday.
It's updating already. Jey Uso's not even the champ anymore. Unbelievable.
WWE working against Romeo in all of his hard work because we are live on the True Hill Heat YouTube, Facebook, and Romeo's Twitter for Rated Raw Review, episode 41, You're Not Family, discussing last night's October 28, 2024 edition of Monday Night Raw as only we can. And to do that, I am joined by my esteemed colleague, the face and the ace of the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, your president of the Liv Morgan fan club, and world famous roaster of Joel Embiid, Mr. Romeo Anthony Colon. How are you doing?
I went viral for roasting. Roasting Joel Embiid. He hasn't been on Twitter since. He probably never will show up again. I owned his ass, and I don't feel sorry. People are like, "Oh, don't you feel bad? The guy, poor guy, he gets hurt every time he plays." I don't give a shit. This guy purposely injured Mitchell Robinson, my New York Knicks center. So I don't feel bad.
Purposely?
Yes.
We're gonna need you to fact check that.
Go to the videotape.
You know,
go to the videotape. You'll see for yourself.
Purposely. If you ask Romeo, it was purposely. But Glad you are back with us today. Glad if you are with us live. We appreciate y'all if you are joining us live. We're an hour early because we had daylight savings time here in the UK. So I'm only 4 hours ahead of you, Romeo, not 5 hours. So we had daylight saving time. I also have to do a few things for work. So we're here live early, 12:05 p.m. Eastern time, usually at 1:05 p.m. Eastern time, but we appreciate y'all. If you're watching us live, watching us on demand, show your appreciation back the simplest way possible, just by dropping the thumbs up on this video. You can also share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the True Heel Heat YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. And of course, we love to interact with all of you guys here on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel. So you can sound off in the live chat. We'll try to highlight as many of your comments as possible. But of course, if you're feeling generous, you want to give back to what we do here, you want to show your support to Rated Raw Review every Tuesday here, you can send a super chat donation. Any dollar amount matters. It goes back to the contributors that you see on screen with us here. And we always appreciate that kind of support. Like our good brother Will Chisholm in the chat with a super chat donation to start us off right. He says, so
the money.
How long before Marigold gets the WWE ID tag? Yes, it was announced today. WWE has an independent development program where they'll be partnering up or collaborating with different wrestling schools as well as independent promotions to cultivate some of the stars on the independent scene, as far as helping them financially, helping them with a gateway to the WWE. They've already partnered up with Cody Rhodes' Nightmare Factory, as well as Seth Rollins' Black and Brave wrestling school, and Booker T's Reality of Wrestling, among other promotions as well as wrestling schools for their WWE ID program. I am on the fence on this. I can't say I'm on the negative or the positive on this. I'm merely on the fence because I know the more prominent questions of it and the issues that this could arise about. But I do understand helping independent wrestlers with financial opportunities and assistance. That is a positive to this whole thing. But I think I have more questions and issues with it. But what about you, Romeo?
Well, the first thought that comes to my mind is like a conversation like this happening, which is like, sorry, man, I'd really like to do the job tonight, but actually, I'm part of the WWE ID contracted school, so it says in my contract that I have to go over tonight. Sorry, bro. I hope you understand. You don't come from a WWE ID school. I have to go over.
Yeah. That's a big issue. And it feels very much akin to what WWE did with the UK scene, which I remember back in the late 2010s. Everybody was like, oh, this is a positive. We're getting a lot of these independent talent can go right to the WWE. Oh, this is awesome. And it literally killed the UK independency. So yeah. I already feel like WWE and AEW are cannibalizing and influencing the independents more than they should. And this seems like in the direction of that more than helping them stand out.
We shall see.
Definitely there. So how long before Marigold gets the WWE ID tag? I'm going to hope for Marigold's sake that it doesn't. That's my answer. For Marigold's sake, even though Rossi, we know how much he likes to twerk for Triple H.
Damn.
He let it twerk for Triple H, man. We know this. We got King Ellie show in the chat. Haven't seen you in a while, good brother. Good to see you. Thank you for the super chat donation. He says, "Who would your favorite to win the women's Rumble?" Mine would be Io right now. I love Io Sky. I think she's one of the best female wrestlers in the world. So I appreciate you being a fan as well, rooting for her to win the Women's Royal Rumble. Do I think she has a shot at winning the Women's Royal Rumble right now? No, not at all. I would say, that's an interesting question to think about in October. Where are you at? Romeo.
Absolutely easy. It's the returning Charlotte Flair. And she's going to challenge Nia Jax. Queen of the Ring? Okay, pal. We'll see. We'll see at WrestleMania. Charlotte Flair, Nia Jax for the title.
Seems like the easiest path, right? Seems like the easiest path, gateway path for
She'll be good by
not
then.
for Charlotte Flair to win. That would be her second Women's Royal Rumble win, right?
Yes. Which someone's done before, right? Nobody?
No, I don't think there's
Nobody's
ever been.
done.
It's been Asuka. 2019 was Becky. 2020 was Charlotte. 2021 was Bianca. 2022 was Ronda. 2023 was Rhea. 2024 was Bailey.
Yeah.
So you're going with first ever two-time
Somebody's
Women's
gotta be
Royal
it.
Rumble winner.
Somebody's got to be the first.
Hey, I mean that is kind of true, but
What
I'm
if
gonna
Becky Lynch came
say, yeah, that's who I was like, I'll say Becky Lynch, or I think this might be the year that they do a two-time Women's Royal Rumble winner because Bianca
those would be my
Belair
two
is another
picks.
one. I would say Bianca Belair would be my third.
I don't think so because I think she's lined up to face Jade and they don't need the title for that.
I don't think they're doing that match, honestly. No.
I think you'll see the breakup leading on the road to Mania.
Okay.
I think that's always
the
been
only
the plan.
The only
having
reason
Jade
I
as a tag
don't
team.
the only reason I don't see that is because I don't think that Jade is necessarily ready to be on her own quite yet.
Well, WWE doesn't care about things like that. They don't care if you're ready. This is our plan and we're doing it.
If I had to go with a first-time winner, it wouldn't even be someone on the main roster. I would probably go with Roxanne Perez.
That would catapult her, but
Yeah.
I don't. No chance.
I think Roxanne Perez is the best women's wrestler currently active on the WWE roster.
Awesome.
We got another super chat donation here from Vala B. You guys are starting us all right. Thank you. He says, yeah, sorry, man. It says right here in my WWE ID contract that I can only lose to other WWE ID independent wrestlers. Sorry.
He just stole my joke, but he paid for it. So
Yeah,
you could steal whatever you want if you pay.
exactly. Steal whatever you want, sir. Do you, good brother. Thank you so much, Vala B. Thank you so much, King Ellie Show and Will Chisholm, showing your support with super chat donations. We also got in the chat with us today, G Loke, who says, what it do at True Hill Heat? Man, Sammy is doing way too much. Mind your biz, cuz. Damn. We feeling like that towards Sammy? Like, I'm sorry. I was supporting my OTC, my original tribal chief, and I was just like, yo, Sammy got a lot of nerve because I was talking to Jimmy Macaram because Jimmy Macaram was like, oh, how is Sammy gonna feel about being doubted a fucking again? And I was like, he should be doubted. This dude manipulated his way into the bloodline. Then he caused dissension within the bloodline, and then he left when it was convenient to him.
Damn. Sami Zayn versus everybody.
Stuck
I
between
think
a rock and a
Sammy's
hard
still
place.
innocent for now, but I wonder what his good buddy Kevin Owens would think of all this over on SmackDown.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I think that it might set up if they want to go with a swerve or a twist to this story. Sammy and Kevin are sounding very much like each other because Kevin was trying to avoid his good friend Cody getting involved with the bloodline and teaming up with Roman Reigns, and he's against Roman Reigns and doesn't like the fact that Cody teamed up with him, and that's why he turned on him. And Sammy is also sounding like that on Raw last night, where he was just like, he doesn't want Jay to align with Roman because Roman was the one that manipulated him and got in his head for all those years. So they kind of seem like they're on the same page.
They do. Although I'm much more in line with Sami Zayn's rational and thinking so far after last night's episode. Kevin Owens, man. Sami Zayn hasn't snuck attacked someone in the parking lot yet, so he's got that going.
Hey,
he's in the
he was-
parking lot, but he hasn't snuck attack.
He was looking right at him. Eric Isaac says, "What's up, THH fam? Happy Crown Jewel week to all." And Raw had the better parking lot segment than Dynamite last week. I mean, to be fair, there was actually something going on in the parking lot instead of guys just standing out there. So, not saying much. No, but thank you guys for all your support. We got another super chat donation here from Vala B. Thank you so much, Vala B. Appreciate you, good sir. He says, if Sami is going into the bloodline, I'm bringing back my dog too.
My dog.
Hey, my dog. How you doing, my dog? They should have done the handshake and everything in front of Jimmy, because Jimmy was the original one who did the handshake with Sami. Christopher says, I just don't think Roxanne Perez is going to lose her NXT Women's Championship until next year. I doubt that. I don't see how she and
they're forming like the Avengers in NXT to take down Roxanne Perez. They coming.
I was like, are they really gonna have both Julia and Stephanie Vicaire lose to Roxanne? Because that Julia, I mean, it's pretty much confirmed with the result from Halloween Havoc that Stephanie Vicaire is probably gonna get the next shot. So you're gonna have Julia and Vicaire lose to Roxanne for the NXT Women's Championship? I'm all for pushing her, but she's ready for the main roster. You gotta have her drop the title now, have a month off, and then have her debut on the main roster in the Royal Rumble.
I think it just leads ultimately to a triple threat match with the three girls, maybe even four-way if you throw Cora Jade in there. Maybe.
I think Roxanne loses the title to Stephanie Vicaire. They build up Julia until Stand and Deliver, and they do Julia versus Vicaire at Stand and Deliver.
Yeah. And I also think that could be like Roxanne's farewell. She goes all the way to there.
I see Roxanne being in the Royal Rumble. I don't know if she wins it or not quite yet, but I think that she is in the Royal Rumble, and then after the Royal Rumble, she gets the main roster call up. Similar in fashion to Tiffany Stratton, how they did Tiffany Stratton this year.
True. We'll see. You better have something good for her.
Yeah, I think they will.
Valkyria's just floating around.
I mean, Lyra Valkyria is doing a lot better than Kiana James or Blair Davenport.
Kiana James never should have been called up. That is ridiculous.
No.
And these
Blair Davenport shouldn't have been called up. They obviously didn't have a plan for her. Like, at least Kiana James, you could say she's injured. At least she got injured. Like, Blair Davenport is not injured, and she's not used.
Yeah, she's just like good hand, really. But these rumors about Obafemi, he better not be called up either, because first of all, he might be ready to do what they ask of him, but don't you want to, you need bodies in the main event scene of NXT. And he's a damn body, you know? He's actually a legit body that would work in the main event scene of NXT. Why would you just give that up, rush things? I don't know.
Yeah, when we talked about it yesterday on the Halloween Havoc review, but I'm sorry, we're seeing the issues with having a Trick Williams as NXT champion. And I'd say this as someone who's a big fan of Trick Williams. He's got the mic skills. He's got the it factor. He's got charisma, boatloads. He's over with the crowd. But bell to bell, he ain't up to par with the past three NXT champions in Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, and Ilya Dragunov from last year. That's the biggest thing that stands out.
But to be fair, those three guys you named are incredible. They really are. They're some of the best in the company.
This feels like a more of a developmental champion run now. Finally, after all these years, they finally have someone who they are developing that is the NXT champion.
Yeah,
it feels more akin to Braun Breaker's first run with the NXT championship. Yeah, I think Obafemi should be the person that dethrones Trick.
That's a money little feud you could do there.
Yeah,
I don't get it. Hopefully those rumors are false.
I hope so too. Will Chisholm said they said Blair can't have a good match with Naomi. We may rethink this. Yes, that's pretty much what it feels like. That she kind of shit the bed with those 2 Naomi matches, and they haven't used her since.
Damn, is that bad?
Yeah, they were really bad matches. They just didn't have any chemistry together. Like I don't think Trick Williams and Ethan Page had good chemistry together, but like Naomi and Blair Davenport, they didn't even look like they were reading the same book.
Damn.
Yeah.
That doesn't usually happen with Naomi matches.
No. Usually Naomi is able to at least have something good with most people.
What, she was like going too fast for her? Blair couldn't keep up?
I don't know. This is someone who was a World of Stardom champion, so I would have expected more.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about Monday Night Raw. Last night's Monday Night Raw took place from Hershey, Pennsylvania, the site of NXT Halloween Havoc. What did you think about the crowd last night in Hershey?
They were all right. Not great, not bad.
Just fine to me. The show kicked off, of course, as usual, with superstars arriving at the building. You had Judgment Day, Seth Rollins both arrived. There was a video package recapping Braun Breaker beating Jey Uso for the Intercontinental Championship, leading into Jey's surprise appearance on SmackDown that led to the Motor City Machine Guns beating the Bloodline for the tag team titles, and his reunion and hug with Jimmy Uso. So much went down at that end of SmackDown. The SmackDown episode. Really good. Really
These
good
assholes,
ending.
man. They knew I was watching the World Series, and they go and put on an episode like that with so much story events going on, man.
You should have known it was in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn got a good one, man.
And
I was saying, we were saying last week, do you think they give away the reunion on SmackDown? And I was like, I think they do, but you were like, they should stretch it out. And then I agreed with you. They should stretch it out. But they obviously have their eyes focused on the Sami Zayn story they want to tell more than Jey and Jimmy reunion.
Yeah. But you see, I'm gonna tease somebody on the True Hill Heat group in our chat. Romeo, you were right. They did do that. Because someone didn't want to agree with me and say you were right, Sid, when I said last night that they weren't gonna do Sammy getting jumped at the end of the show. I was like, no, that would be totally hot shot in this story.
Wow.
And giving us everything in one night. But hey. But we kicked off the show with the former Intercontinental Champion, Jey Uso, coming down to the ring. Of course, a huge ovation for Jey. The fans eating it up. He comes down to a big ovation. Jey says that it's been a long week. He lost the Intercontinental Championship last week. Doesn't seem like he cares that much. Had some bloodline drama and got his retaliation on SmackDown by costing them the WWE Tag Team titles.
He did get his revenge pretty quick there.
He did. They did hotshot that shit. There was only one Uso he wanted to hear from now, though. And that brought out Jimmy Uso. That was the biggest ovation I heard for that theme song.
I get hyped that note.
He got a big ovation. Jimmy,
you know what's hilarious? Is like his theme lyrics, even though he turned babyface, they still make sense because he's still fighting his family.
They ain't talking family first. I put that in the past.
He's got to always feud with his family for his song to fit in.
Jimmy thanked Jey for what he did on SmackDown, and he says they needed to be together to take down Solo Sikoa and the Bloodline because they weren't the ones. We are the crowd gasps as Jey stopped him and says they weren't the ones either. He says that the last time they saw each other, it was half a year ago at WrestleMania, fighting each other. A lot has happened since then. People don't get them confused anymore. Jey says they know who I am. They know who you are. They know you as No Yeet. They know me as Yeet. Watch this. And he gets the whole crowd to do the Yeet chant. He then says that he won his Intercontinental Championship on his own, but none of the titles and all of that topped being Jimmy's twin brother. Oh, Jimmy went for
I definitely said all too.
a hug, but Jay stopped him. And he says they still need to fix this stuff. He said this time around, if they got back together, they were nobody's yes men. They were nobody's side piece. He was like, you be Jimmy, I be Jay, and they do it together as the Usos. Jimmy told Jay that Roman Reigns, the OTC, would be at SmackDown on Friday. He says that Jay needs to come and squash this beef with him. And Jay agrees. He says that he would be there. This leads to Jimmy extending his hand, looking for finally to embrace his brother, but they couldn't even shake on it as Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa show up. They start brawling with the Usos. We see Solo Sikoa is at ringside with Jacob Fatu, and as soon as it looks like the Usos have the advantage, he tells Jacob to get into the ring. He starts attacking both men, hits a super kick on Jay. The Tongans tie Jimmy up in the ropes so he can watch as Jacob Fatu takes out his brother. He gets a steel chair and he wraps it around Jay's neck, and he's about to hit the hip attack, the same hip attack that put Jimmy out of action on the SmackDown following WrestleMania 40. But Jay grabs the chair and launches it, eats it at Jacob's face. The Usos then clear house with super kicks on the Tongans. They hit a pair of super kicks on Jacob Fatu, leading to him getting to ringside. Solo holds back the Bloodline and doesn't want to see them get into this fight anymore as officials and Adam Pearce come and back the Bloodline up the aisle as the Usos stand tall in the ring. Really good segment to kick off the show. I thought the promo work between Jimmy and Jay was excellent. I thought Jay had the right tone and delivery in his promo, and just like it was like that brotherly love. No one wants to see the Usos fight. We want to see them showing love to one another and realizing that their bond is bigger than anything else, is bigger than their own single success. So like this was so much better than any of the promo work that they did leading up to WrestleMania. And this is what we wanted to see. And I love the tone with Jay talking about, saying that they're not going to be the yes man. They're not going to be the side pieces because Jay has outgrown that. Jay has become his own man. He's legitimately one of the most over acts in WWE. So he can't be the sidekick to Roman Reigns anymore. Now this is a complete unit. This is like superheroes coming together instead of one figurehead with his family behind him. Now they stand on equal ground. Not so much Jimmy, but I like Jay being the one that initiated this part of it. And I like the Bloodline getting the attack. It was surprising though that a 2-on-3, the Usos stood tall at the end of this, because I was just like, man, the Bloodline, if they don't win at Crown Jewel, this is not looking good for them at all. Unless they all these losses is for them to finally win in the War Games. I don't know where we're going with this, because this is starting to feel like Terra Twins versus Judgment Day territory.
And they technically have 4. It's just that Solo didn't want to get involved.
Yeah.
It's time to unleash the secret weapon in the back pocket, the ace up their sleeve. Hikuleo. He's got to be debuted on Saturday. Got to be. To shift the odds back in the favor of the, what do we call them? The Bloodline? And then that's the OG Bloodline? I guess
yeah. Bloodline and OG Bloodline, basically.
Yeah. Jey Uso was great here, man. That Jay's best promo ever, probably. That was really good.
And I said the one on SmackDown a few weeks ago was his best promo work, but this was probably better.
And I agreed with everything he said. I liked how he made sure to clarify that Jay and Jimmy are their own guys now, even though they're brothers in the Usos. They're not yes men anymore for Roman. They're trying to think of themselves as equals, So I like that, but you know what I was thinking during all this? I was like, man, Jey Uso is so over. He's so over with the fans. The fans love him. I know I know it's all about Rock Roman. I know we're gonna get that. I know Roman's also over. He's over huge. But I hope we could get a Rock and Jey Uso match because that or program because that would probably be because the crowd would get so into it. Jey Uso would be such a huge underdog against The Rock, the final boss, and The Rock would have so much fun with that, being the big bad that he is. I know they're gonna do Roman Rock. I know that. But I also want that too, because that would just be so much fun for the crowd as well.
I think we can get a promo exchange, but not a program. Rock's only coming back for 2 programs. It's Cody going into this year's WrestleMania, and it's Roman going into the next WrestleMania. I don't know if we got any more programs after that.
He could do so much for Jey, though. He really could. That'd be huge for Jey.
He can take him to the next level probably, because like I think I said this on either the flagship podcast or our TNA Bound for Glory, because I was quite disturbed by the comparisons of Joe Hendry being denied the TNA World Championship to Cody Rhodes being denied the WWE Championship. I was like literally TNA doesn't have a Rock coming into the door, because the only reason why Cody felt hotter at WrestleMania, going into WrestleMania 40 than WrestleMania 39, because that was my big question in the in-between. If it's Cody at WrestleMania 40, how is he supposed to get as hot as he was going into 39? It was The Rock that led to him becoming hotter and him trying to shoehorn himself into his WrestleMania main event after Cody won the Royal Rumble, that made Cody this ultimate figure of like John Cena and Bryan Danielson having a baby together in the level of popularity and his character work was at that point. But TNA doesn't have a Rock walking in the door to get that for Joe Hendry.
Also, WWE is like a global phenomenon business that, they're gonna be all right. TNA, you don't have the room to pass on making somebody. You don't. You need to kind of just do it. Yes. You know what I mean? The room for error is what the phrase I was looking for.
Yeah, 100% right. But this whole first segment led into our next segment when we came back from commercial break. An angry Adam Pearce was backstage, and the audacity of Adam Pearce telling Nick Aldis to control his roster when his roster has fucking run amok for over a year now. That was outrageous. The unmitigated gall of Adam Pearce to be yelling at Nick Aldis like this, berating him for.
Does he also forget that Jey went to SmackDown the other week?
What the hell? Berating him.
Oh, here was another thing about that segment. I'm sorry. I forgot to mention this about the segment before. It's so awkward and weird when they're talking about, show up on SmackDown and talk to Roman when it's taped and it's already happened.
But we are smart fans, so we know.
So I get cringe. I like.
I will not. I don't even mention that type of stuff because I'm willing to let that go because the casual fans don't know that. Don't know it's already been filmed.
I'm sitting there watching like, jeez, I suspend my disbelief.
You gotta suspend your disbelief for that part. But like I said. Angry Adam Pearce was berating Nick Aldis for allowing the Bloodline to appear on Raw. He says they only agreed for Jimmy to be there, and he told him to get control of his damn roster. This led to the Judgment Day walking in and showing up. Pearce was low on patience, he tells them, and he quickly informed Dominic Mysterio that yes, he will be facing a former World Heavyweight Champion, and yes, it is someone that he is very familiar with. He'll be facing Damian Priest tonight. Literally, this is as bad of a whodunit as fucking Christian Cage jumping Taz on AEW. Like, I was just like the most obvious person, which we literally called last week, who is the person that you did a whole mystery former world champion for a week to do that? Carlito said that wasn't cool. Pierce left. And then you get Dom says he wasn't worried, that he knew Priest's tricks. Finn Balor tried to warn him that no one knows Priest as much as him. And there's a reason that they called him Punishment. Dom urged them to believe in him, and he told them that he can become a world champion. He planned on going out there alone to prove it to all of them. They all got behind him, including Liv, saying, "We believe in you, Daddy Dom," except for Balor, who looked quite annoyed and that Dom didn't listen to him, and he just walks away because you're a fucking bum. Then you can't beat Priest, so you don't think anyone in the Judgment Day can beat Priest.
That's funny. I like that. I like that touch. I like that Finn's getting annoyed. By the way, it seemed like Carlito was just like so in the background after last week. Like you could barely see him in the segment. He's just somewhere back there. That's not cool. He probably ad-libbed that. He probably didn't even have a line in the segment.
If fucking Triple H was probably like, "You better stop ad-libbing. Stop. Stop."
They didn't give him nothing of substance.
Banned. I mean,
you're on the ban list for now, Carlito.
He's like, you on the cannot ad-lib list. Like,
yes.
You can't do any ad-libs, never off-script comments. All you can say is that wasn't cool. That's cool.
That should be his gimmick now every week. Trying to sneak in one line during the program. And to see if he does it. Cool.
It was like, you lucky to have a job after last week. God damn.
Oof.
We got another super chat or super sticker from Chuck Berries. Thank you so much, Chuck Berries. We appreciate that love, appreciate that support. You guys are killing the game today. We appreciate that for sure. Next up, we had our opening matchup on the night, which was Sheamus going one-on-one with Ludwig Kaiser. You get the hard-hitting opening between these two men immediately, started hitting big chops, big clubber and blows by Sheamus. You get on the outside of the ring, them fighting at ringside. Sheamus hits a big running knee. He tries to powerbomb Kaiser into the prime section, but Kaiser locks on a guillotine choke. So Sheamus slams him back first into the steel steps.
Ouch.
When we come back from our commercial break, Sheamus hits the 10 beats of the Bowery, then hits a cane-like flying clothesline off the top rope. Kaiser followed up with a powerbomb and then the PK for a 2 count of his own. He starts exchanging strikes until he starts slapping Sheamus across the face, which only brings Sheamus, it hulks him up. He starts getting angry and he goes back after Kaiser. Kaiser tries to hit him with a big running kick, but Sheamus catches him with the pump knee and then follows up with the bro kick for the 1-2-3. This was another good matchup between these two men, but I would say that this was below their recent output. I thought that their last two matches were better than this one. What did you think?
100% agreed with what you just said. And also, do we really need this match right now? Because eventually we're going to have Sheamus and Gunther feud. And I think that's when you want to do this match.
It felt like this is a rivalry that already was done. Like after they traded wins with, I think Kaiser beat him in June, and then Sheamus won the rematch. That should have been done and dusted for a while until you want to do the Gunther versus Sheamus match. But it just felt like, oh, Sheamus needs another win. Let's put him in there with Kaiser because he always has a good match with Kaiser. But it hurts Kaiser because Kaiser is going to be in a main event matchup on SmackDown when he teams with Gunther against Randy and Cody. And he already felt like the guy that's just here to take the loss, but now he even more feels like the guy that's just here to take the loss.
By the way, that's a cool match. I like that matchup they got for SmackDown. But yeah, they did kind of ruin him there a little bit. But maybe Adam Pearce, if he's an actual like good, legitimate executive figure, sees what happened with this result and then the main event result and says, you know what? I think I found my number one contender. And it's not the guy that I put in the main event.
Why not? Why not? There was a video promo from Rhea Ripley this week. Rhea talking about Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan. She admitted to making mistakes in the past and betraying them. But when Raquel betrayed her, it was a bigger mistake and that she did it for selfish reasons. She says that they have deserved every beating that they got from her, though. Now, it was only about winning the women's world title and that they would have to kill her to stop her. Now I know that Rhea Ripley is among the most popular stars in the company, but man, I'm sorry. This whole feud feels cold. It feels cold and kind of stale at this point.
They need a big grudge match with Rhea and Raquel that they need to make it feel important. But I thought Rhea did show good rage and passion in this promo. She's really good at that.
Yeah. It just
Angry
feels
Rhea.
like, yeah, I like angry Rhea, but like this feud, like I said, the Terra Twins and Judgment Day, it peaked at Bash in Berlin. And it's like that Triple H hasn't got the memo yet.
I can't say you're wrong there.
And
gotta have a good ending
it would only get worse with the main event, because that main event, oh my God, I was like, yo, there is like 2 or 3 different things on this show that could have closed the show a lot better.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
So weird. So you either, like, I'll say it now. I wouldn't even let y'all wait. I'm gonna say it now. If you ended the show with the fucking Jimmy and Jay finding Sami outside in the parking lot, that's a much better cliffhanger ending to the show. Or if you end the show with Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed in the parking lot, that's a way better way to end the show that is at least building to a crown jewel matchup. Like, this episode was once again the Triple H standard of, here's a go home show that isn't really making you want to watch the show on the weekend.
Yeah, I kind of even thought like the tag teams were going to main event just because it was like the biggest match on the card.
Yeah,
with the biggest implications, but yeah, what ended up closing the show shouldn't have closed the show.
We got Vala B. He says, I never liked this feud, so I can't comment. Yeah, he's been always against the Rhea and Liv feud. Vala B also saying, Rhea is Teflon, Damian is not. Don't book him like Teflon. Very true. Very true. The result of the main event was also very weird because of how they've been building up Damian Priest for so long. Even though they protected him with the way he lost, it was still weird.
Well, where's Dominic's title shot? He's earned it.
All right. Next was arguably the best segment of the show. We go backstage to the Usos. They're talking about getting the better of the Bloodline out there when they bump into Sami Zayn backstage. And you heard the crowd even go, ooh. Zayn and Jay, they shook hands.
Awesomely placed sign that says brothers right above them. What directing?
Zayn and Jay shook hands. Sami then says that he wanted to speak to Jay, and he's like, sure. And he just is like still standing there with Jimmy, and he looks at Jimmy and he says, alone. Jimmy and Sami got face to face with Jimmy. As soon as he saw Sami, he crushed up his face. He had the face like, I don't like this nigga. Like, fuck this nigga. This nigga tried to break up our family. Jay asked Jimmy to leave, so he did. Zayn then asked Jay if everything was suddenly cool now with Jimmy and Roman. He's like, it's now Jimmy and Jay. The Usos are back together. And what did I hear about you going to SmackDown to talk to Roman Reigns? Jay says that, yeah, he knows his history with Roman, but he thinks that Solo Sikoa might be even worse than Reigns. And Zayn says no. Solo wasn't the one who mentally got in Jay's head for years, making him jump through hoops to prove himself to his own family. Sami says that he doesn't understand. He says Jay didn't have to choose between the lesser of two evils. He didn't have to get involved at all. And that's a lie. He literally got screwed. He got screwed out of the Intercontinental title. He had to get involved. Zayn says he just doesn't understand any of this. He doesn't understand what Jay's doing. And Jay says, that's right. You don't understand, Sami, because you aren't family. You're not family, Oos. And Sami, you could tell that shit got to him. He was like, all right. And then Jay just leaves and walks away. I was like, yo, Sami sold this perfectly. Sami is so irrationally upset that Jay is getting back involved with the Bloodline, that he even had points where he didn't even make too much sense because Jay had no choice. Jay was thrust back into the Bloodline business because they cost him the Intercontinental Championship. If he would have been like, you shouldn't have gone to SmackDown or in it already.
Yes,
but even before that, Jimmy got in his face. Jimmy wanted him to get involved in this. Jimmy came to him. So
didn't have to get involved.
No matter what he chose, he was going to find himself back into all of this.
No, I'm more on Sammy's side here, man. Sammy's right, man. Jay, you the idiot that went to SmackDown and got the Bloodline involved in your business. You deserved to lose your title once you started talking all that trash to him, and you started attacking them during your match just because they wanted to help you. Like they didn't touch you. You touched them first. Like, come on. But this was great writing. Oh my goodness. And then the performances on top of that. Jay, look at his face when he delivers that line. He did great acting here. He says the line, but he doesn't look happy. Like it almost like he instantly regretted saying it. But then he fixed his face like, I'm gonna stand by it. Even though I feel bad that I said it, I'm gonna stand by it. I thought that was a nice, subtle little touch of emotions by Jey Uso. Like that's something I expect from Sami Zayn because Sami Zayn's so good at that kind of stuff. Jay stepped up his acting game there too.
Yeah, Sammy was really good too because you could tell it hurt him hearing that. It hurt him hearing that, but he also accepted like, yeah, I'm not your family, but he's been like family to him, which led to the next segment that we'll talk about in a little bit here that added even more layers to all of this. So yeah, this was very well done. And I even like Jimmy. I like Jimmy. As soon as he saw Jay, as soon as he saw Sammy, he's like scrunching up his face because we cannot forget, because this is something that our chat has said a couple of times, I think on the flagship podcast when we talked about the Usos reunion. Sammy turned on the Bloodline. The Bloodline didn't turn on Sammy. Yes, the Bloodline was doing stuff to manipulate him, put him against his best friend Kevin Owens, but it was Sammy's choice. It was Sammy's choice, though, at Royal Rumble 2023 to turn on Roman and the Bloodline.
Because also, in another ironic twist, Kevin Owens is not actually Sami Zayn's blood, but that's his brother.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And Jimmy's always had that jealousy of, he had it with Roman, he had it with Sammy. He's like, you guys are trying to be too close to my Jay. That's my brother. He's not your brother. I'm your brother. They got that twin bond. It can never be broken.
Absolutely. They came from the womb to the tomb.
That, a lot of us can't understand. Twin bond is just something different.
Yeah. Will Chisholm says, to be fair, Jay didn't have to say to Jacob, if you keep looking at me, I'm going to knock your ass out. That is true. That is true. He was kind of wild. He was kind of wild there. Okay. That's fair. You made good points. You gave me good points. See?
Bring on the migraines.
We get a Gunther pre-taped promo. He called Cody Rhodes a gutless champion. Cody dragged another close friend into his business once again. This time it was Randy Orton. Gunther suggested Rhodes pull Orton aside and ask him what he felt like to be choked out by him at Bash in Berlin, because Rhodes would be the next one to get the same treatment. When Cody would wake up and finally realize he was the secondary champion.
Gunther is just, man, he's so good at trash talking trash. I wish Gunther could just follow me around all day and just like talk trash on my behalf. I was inspired by Gunther when I roasted Joel Embiid on Twitter. I was like, what would Gunther say? And I was like, yeah, he'd say that. Send.
Street trash. Love it. Next, we get Ivy Now going one-on-one with Zelina Vega. Ivy Now has the Creed brothers in her corner. Zelina has Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde in her corner. This match went 2 segments, but somehow was still 6.5 minutes, so we only saw 3. Vega hit a dive and they went to commercial break seconds, like 50 seconds into the matchup. Vega completely, I don't know what she was doing here on this moonsault that she did, but she completely missed this moonsault. She like landed on the top of like Ivy Now's forehead
face, right?
with the moonsault. We get Brutus Creed distract the referee while Julius prevented Vega from hitting the code red. Del Toro and Wild then went after the Creeds. The Creeds handily took care of them. Hits a big exploder suplex and then launches Joaquim into the air, planting him on the mat. Meanwhile, in the ring, Ivy picks up Vega and hits a spinning Uranagi for the 1-2-3. This was there. It wasn't that good.
That finisher needs work. I like the concept and idea of what it is, but when I first saw it live, I was like, "Oh, Zelina reversed that into a DDT." Oh, wait, no, she didn't. She's getting pinned.
That was like the second move in the matchup that looked like the person who was doing it got hit with something.
Yeah, it just needs to be cleaned up. The execution needs to be better. But I like the idea of it.
Yeah. The only thing I really liked about this matchup is Ivy now picking up the win, because finally American Made is winning matches again, because it feels, but I feel like they're not going to gain any momentum until they actually get consecutive wins, which WWE seems immune from doing that.
Hey, we Puerto Ricans have taken enough L's in the past couple of days in the news, and then we go ahead and have two more Puerto Ricans to lose on Raw, Triple H.
Well, you know who Triple H voting for.
Just saying, man. It's not only the black community suffering through Triple H. Us Puerto Ricans, we're in the mud after last night.
Touche there. Touche. We get Jimmy Uso backstage with Jay. He asks him how his chat with Sami went. Jay said that he told Sami that he wasn't family. And Jimmy dismissively says, "Well, he's not." He drops.
Got that right.
Jay stood up for Sami and said that when Jimmy left, that it was Sami that stepped up for him and had his back. Jimmy then tells Jay that he could tell that Jay was bothered, so he says he wanted to talk to Sami himself. Jay didn't like that idea and said that something bad would happen, but Jimmy insisted that he just wanted to talk, and he walks away to go find Sami, and Jay is left to have his first migraine in a little over a year. I like the fact that Jimmy took the initiative to be like, let me go talk to Sami. Maybe it's the issues that they have with each other that is preventing Sami from seeing the good in them reuniting. So let me go talk to him. But I love that Jay did the...
Yes. Stress Jay is always entertaining. Sorry, Jay.
It's the best Jay. Best Jay. Best Jay is a stress Jay. In more ways than one. Up next, we get Seth freaking Rollins coming to the ring as he's got to talk about his matchup at Crown Jewel against Bronson Reed. He says that he was on the hunt for a monster. Make no mistake about it, Bronson Reed is a monster, but so am I. He says that was a side of Rollins that he put to bed a long time ago. He forgot about that side of him, but Reed woke it up, and he woke something up in his soul. Reed reminded him what he was capable of, and he says, I got to be honest with you, Hershey, I kind of like it. Reed, though, appeared on the big screen. He lets Seth know that he promised Adam Pearce that he wouldn't have a repeat of last week and cause chaos in the arena. However, if Rollins wanted to hunt a monster, he was waiting for him in the parking lot. Rollins left the ring and found Reed in the parking lot. Pearce tries to get in the way, says, you already have the match, and he just chucks him out of the way. They start brawling with each other in the parking lot. They chucked aside some security guards before Reed tossed Rollins onto a car. There was a semi-truck nearby, so Rollins slammed the trailer door into Reed's face after kicking him in the face. He gets the advantage, and Reed hovers over the hood of the car. So Seth jumps off the production crates and slams his face down with a curb stomp, an avalanche curb stomp into the hood of the car. I thought that would be the end of it. We get security pulling Seth away. Seth tries to cut a promo to the camera outside, but he suddenly stops when he realizes that Reed is back on his feet. Reed is legitimately like a fucking movie monster. Seth super kicks Reed and hits him on the head with a wooden crate. Rollins went inside the trailer, but Reed gets chucks a fucking trash can right at his face. He then slams Seth back and forth into the walls of the trailer. He then picks Seth up on his shoulders into the Death Valley driver and launches out of the floor of the trailer onto some tables nearby, crashing Seth down. The crowd back inside the arena are chanting "Holy shit" at this point as officials go to check on Rollins as Reed is already coming back on his feet. Reed just looks at Adam Pearce like, my work here is done. I kept my promise. And these Bronson Reed fucking brawls, the fact that they keep coming up with some way new to do it, I got to give it to WWE. They are actually showing some creative intent with Bronson Reed's presentation. He comes off like a movie monster, the way he's never able to stay down. And the brawl was just so much fun to watch. A nice way to close things out. I wasn't that into Seth's promo, but it paid off with the brawl outside. What did you think?
Yeah, Bronson's funny saying, we're not going to cause chaos inside the arena. I keep my word. And bam, we caused chaos outside the arena. Yeah, the brawl was cool. I thought it would end when you thought it would end with the curb stomp. And then I was like, man, Bronson's going to go over on Saturday if Seth's going to end it here with the curb stomp. But note, the Seth Rollins is going to bury Bronson Reed agenda as well and alive again because Bronson gets the final laugh here. So
this would be a burial. If he loses after injuring Seth on this show, yeah, that's a burial. That's a burial.
I'm telling you, man, Seth's going to win. He's always going to win.
We need Bronson Reed to win on Saturday. I'm still going with Bronson.
That was his moment right there. That was his win. Standing tall at the end of in the middle of Raw.
You giving me Jey Uso migraines. We cannot have Bronson Reed lose on Saturday. He needs this win. They just did this to me at Bad Blood with Finn Balor losing to Damian Priest. They cannot do this to me with Bronson Reed losing to Seth Rollins here. Please, Triple H.
And there you go, another segment that could have ended Raw.
Indeed. This would have been a perfect little end and give you a go home segment for this rivalry before Crown Jewel, but is what it is. They didn't even think about freaking promoting the women's Crown Jewel championship matchup on this show. Did they even fucking mention it?
Can't remember.
I don't think they did. Yeah, I don't think they did at all.
Well, whose title were they carrying around earlier? The men's? The men's Crown Jewel?
Yes, the men's, because they never showed it later on. Yeah, that was the men's one because it had the black strap. Yeah. The women's one has a white strap. It's crazy.
Stanley Cup of wrestling. I'm telling you, folks, I need Liv to win, and then I need Dominic to just carry around that title. That would be funny.
R-Truth approaches Alpha Academy backstage. He says they look a lot better without that short, ugly guy who screamed at them all the time. Otis asks Master Gable, and Truth responded, "You can't say that on television." He's then approached and apologized to by The Miz. Miz says that he didn't know what got into him. He says they were former tag team champions, WrestleMania, and more importantly, they were family. Miz needed family now more than ever. Maxine Dupree told Truth not to listen to him. Miz responded, said, "Yeah, don't listen to a former champion. Listen to Snow White and the Two Dorks." Truth stopped Otis and Akira Tozawa from killing Miz, and he says, "No, he's right. We should handle it between us." Truth says that it was between him and The Miz. And Truth then shakes Miz's hand. They do their little pose. He then says, "Oh, I got something for you," and then punches Miz right in the face. Truth then leaned in and said, "Good luck with the Wyatts. You're gonna die." The crowd laughed at that line. Truth walked away smiling, and then he walked past Pete Dunne nearby and said, "What's up, Butch? You seen Pete?" And Pete Dunne did not look happy about that.
That was great too.
I guess this was their way of finishing up the Miz Truth thing at the same time setting Truth up with Pete Dunne.
Or that just
What
could
do
have
you
been a
think?
random R-Truth interaction.
It could have been that, but I think that maybe that leads to like at least a match on Raw between Dunne and Truth, because he hates when people call him Butch. And I think that Miz is going to be more involved in the Wyatt Six versus Final Testament matchup, because he's the fourth man for the Final Testament team to face the full all the members of the Wyatt Six.
This was hilarious. Anytime R-Truth could get me to physically laugh out loud, it's a win for R-Truth that night. Did his job.
Fair. I give you that. Y'all gonna die was funny.
Man.
Love it. Enjoyed it. Next up, we get the triple threat number one contenders matchup for the World Tag Team titles, as it was Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee of LWO versus Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods of the New Day versus Eric and Ivar of the Viking Raiders. There was a moment where Rey went to tag Dragon Lee, but Woods knocked Dragon off of the apron. The crowd lightly booed him, but as he was so upset by it. He was so upset by it. He was like, "Why are you booing me?"
Yeah, he's trying to win the match. Come on.
I'm just trying to win. He gets cut off as Kofi's trying to ask for the tag. He gets cut off by Ivar though. But Kofi eventually makes the hot tag. He starts running wild. He gave Ivar and Rey the double boom drop, giving Rey an SOS for a near fall as Dragon Lee broke up the cover. Everyone starts trading moves. It's going rapid fire with everybody being taken out. Kingston takes out most of the people outside on the floor with a trust fall before we go to a commercial break. Dragon Lee tagged in, and Kingston double foot stomp, gets a double foot stomp by Dragon Lee, and then a DDT to Ivar. Rey brought Ivar off of the ropes with a Hurricane Rado, while Dragon Lee gave Kingston a sit-out powerbomb. Lee covered Kingston, but Woods broke up that cover. Kingston gave Lee a backbreaker, and he looked for the daylight finisher with Xavier Woods, but Xavier Woods got too overzealous. He tried to stop Rey Mysterio from getting in the ring, but Rey dodged him, and Woods went flying to the outside. This led to Kingston being left alone as the LWO double teamed him. They set him up for a 619 as Dragon Lee hit a big Tope Con Hilo to the floor. As Rey went to go for the 619, he gets pulled out of the ring by Chad Gable, who locks on the ankle lock on the floor. Meanwhile, Kingston is taken by the War Raiders. War Raiders hit their double team German suplex and springboard clothesline and get the cover. 1, 2, 3. The War Raiders are your new number one contenders for the World Tag Team Championships. They will face the Judgment Day's JD McDonough and Finn Balor. I thought this match was a lot of fun. I thought it got multiple segments. It got 3 segments of the show. It went 17 and a half minutes. So we saw a good portion of the matchup. And I thought all the stories kind of played well, where you set up Gable versus Mysterio as a feud after LWO beat the Creed brothers in the tournament. Then you also continue the whole New Day drama with Kingston and Woods not being on the same page throughout this matchup. And the War Raiders are set up as the number one contenders. So I felt like all the teams got something out of this match.
I forgot. Who did you pick last week to win? Yeah, we both agreed.
I picked out LWO.
They were like the least likely to win, and they go out and win.
Because we thought, we was like, if they win, they got to win the tag team titles. And I would think that the Judgment Day were going to hold on to the tag team titles longer, but I think I'm wrong.
Over.
Yeah, it's over.
And new. Yeah, it was a cool match. I agree with everything you said. And I like Rey and Dragon Lee as a tag team. Keep it up for a while. It's a nice little
Agreed.
spot for Dragon Lee.
They should be the tag team in LWO, despite Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wild being
They're
the
the better tag
longer.
team. Yeah.
Yeah. Very true. Backstage, we see The Miz complaining to Adam Pearce about needing security for all the drama because Truth attacked him and now the Wyatt Six are after him. When Karrion Kross and the rest of the Final Testament, Saints Paul Ellering come in and approach him. We saw earlier in the night from last week that one of his own got taken out. So I think they wrote off Paul Ellering for good. Kross wanted Miz to help them with and find Bo Dallas tonight. Miz didn't like that idea. Kross said that he would help or else Kross would break his legs. And the crowd lightly chanted, break his legs.
Yeah.
I honestly thought because of what was the main event, I was like, are they going to close the show with Miz trying to find Bo Dallas and then Bo Dallas kidnapping him? But apparently they did that segment on Raw Talk.
Yes, and then I saw a segment on Karrion Kross's social media where Scarlett like walks in. Did you see this or no?
No.
Are you hearing this for the first time? Okay, so she tells Karrion that she heard the Wyatt Six kidnapped the Miz, and Kross was like, "How long ago was that?" And she said, "In the past 20 minutes." And then Kross was like, "Well, he's probably dead." And I just started busting out laughing because he says it just like that.
Deadpans.
Oh my God. I like this Karrion Kross, man. More people should be liking this. Karrion Kross is killing it.
Hey, he does a great job of using his social media to enhance his TV character. So I give him credit on that. All right, next up, we had the second best segment of the night. We go backstage, and Jimmy Uso is looking for Sami Zayn. He's going towards the exit as he walked out of the arena. He saw Sami.
I'm sorry. By the way, that guy on the right completely walks through the security scanner, and it goes off. Beep. Did anyone not notice that?
It did. I heard that too. Jimmy walks out of the building and he sees something and he is not pleased. We see some figures in the background, but we can't see quite yet. When Jay pulls up on him, Jay approaches and asks if he had spoken to Sami, and Jimmy tells him shh and points over to Sami Zayn talking to Solo Sikoa in Solo Sikoa's car. And it's just like, damn, Sami, you got busted. Busted big time, yeah. They're having a conversation. Both Jimmy and Jay seem surprised, but then Jimmy tells Jay that they needed to do this with just themselves and Roman, the family, and Jay agrees by saying, yeet. I will say, they set this was shot. This was the best production of the night. The way they shot this, it was very much like it was like a POV type camera work with them looking at Solo and Sami talking. And also it makes sense character-wise because if you remember from the Bloodline saga, from Sami being in the Bloodline, one of the first people outside of like Jimmy that fully embraced Sami like initially was Solo. Solo at that time felt like Jay was off of his game, and who brought him to the ring in his first main roster matchup on the main roster? Sami Zayn. Sami and Solo, because Sami took the bullet for Solo when Solo was attacked by Drew McIntyre following Clash at the Castle. When he was about to get hit with a steel chair, it was Sami that pushed him out the way and took the steel chair shot for him. He's always kind of been had a close relationship with Sami and embraced Sami. So it makes all the sense of the world that Sami would be willing to listen to Solo and why Solo would approach Sami, especially considering how he came at Jay earlier in the night. So character-wise, this all made sense. I understand why they would doubt Sami as well because he's seen being talking to Solo here, and he already expressed he doesn't see Solo as bad as Roman.
100% agree with everything you just said. That was great camera work. Getting that shot through the barricade. Nice shot. Yeah, right there. Good shot. I'm surprised Sami doesn't notice the lights to the left of him focused on Jimmy and Jay. There's another cameraman nearby, but everything you said is right. Sammy has good reason to at least be to hear out Solo Sikoa. Until he buries the hatchet with Roman Reigns himself, Roman Reigns is still the enemy as far as he know. He ain't do nothing for him.
Yep. But yeah, really, really well done with the camera work here. This was like, I was like, man, why didn't they close the show with that by the end of the show? I was like, that should have
Nice
been
cliffhanger.
the ending of the show.
Nice cliffhanger. Raw should have more cliffhangers.
Yeah. But it was not the close of the show, Romeo. Instead, we had the main event.
Get it drop down.
We had Damian Priest going one-on-one with Dominic Mysterio of the Judgment Day. Dom early on hits a nice suicide dive ahead of a commercial break. When we come back from commercial break, he tried to hit the Three Amigos, but Priest reversed the last one into a broken arrow. Priest followed with a flatliner for a 2, but Dom escaped. So Priest went after him, hitting a big tackle across the announce table and launching Dom into the laps of Wade Barrett and Joe Tessitore. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez ran down and distracted the referee, while JD McDonough and Carlito attacked Priest. Priest fought back on the outside after they launched him over the barricade. Priest just gets up and starts wilding on both of these guys. He grabbed some steel chairs and he nails JD McDonough in the back twice. The referee yelled at Priest for defending himself against Carlito, who wasn't even in the matchup and is in the ring. So Priest hits him with the steel chair a few times, but with this distraction, Dominic takes advantage. He gets a schoolboy with a handful of tights and picks up the biggest win of his run so far, beating a former world champion here, Damian Priest. Dom tried to bail, but Priest catches him. He hits him with a razor's edge. Priest was about to leave, but after hearing Lillian Garcia announce Dom as the winner, Priest returned to the ring. He grabs a steel chair and hits Dom in the back multiple times with it. Carlito tried to save Dom, but Priest catches him. He gives him a big South of Heaven chokeslam. He then grabs Dominic and hits him with another big South of Heaven chokeslam. The rest of the Judgment Day helped Dom out of the ring. Dom was barely moving, but managed to raise his hand in victory, and Priest sarcastically applauded the quote-unquote winner of the matchup after standing tall to close the show. Wasn't much to this matchup. It went just under 9 minutes with a commercial break in between, so meaning we only had a 6-minute main event. And there was just way too many matches on this show that had I think every match on the show, there was 4 matches on the show, and I think every one of them, except for Sheamus and Ludwig, had some interference in it. So that when you don't have any creativity in your matches, and then you close the show with this was a lackluster way to end this episode. This I thought rather entertaining episode of Raw just ended with the.
Yeah, I agree with you again. This isn't fun when we agree so much. Jeez, what's going on here, man? Nah, I'm just kidding. But bisexual Kane went crazy in that match. I mean, after the match, like, it's like, well, he did. Come on, look at his gear. Look at his. Did you see his gear? That's something
Bisexual Kane.
Yeah, that was crazy. But I don't mind Dom winning. I really don't, especially in the cheap way he did. But then you just go ahead and have him get destroyed right after. It's like, oh, we got to get Priest's heat back. No, we don't. We don't have to. Not right away. It's okay. We don't have to right away. It's fine. Trust me. But Damian Priest, in no way should he be facing Gunther anytime soon with that L on his record. No way.
No.
So give it to Sheamus. Give it to Dom. Dom first. Because Dom's the one that, first of all, Carlito, the fixer, congrats. You got your ass kicked there, but you fixed this match. And look, Dom won, and now Dom should get a title shot. Congrats, Carlito. Great job. The fixer of Judgment Day. Where the hell was Finn?
Finn, we never saw him again after he walked away. Away.
Figure
he's like, I'm over this. I'm not with this. Gotta go, guys. I'm leaving for the day.
So now you should get a segment next Raw where like Dominic is like feeling himself and Finn just starts losing it even more. Because he did something you didn't do, Finn. Guess what? And Carlito brags about it. I'm the fixer.
Hey, I made this match. This is my win as much as your win, Dom.
Yeah. It makes for interesting things in the dynamic of the Judgment Day, at least. But
Yeah.
Priest is in the mud. Finn's in the mud. Yeah.
Can't say you're wrong. Can't say you're wrong, sir. So yeah. But
That's
I
not
just
even a
didn't
match
like...
for Saturday, huh?
No. No. We
You
closed
figured
we
it
closed
would
the
be.
show with a match that had nothing to do with Crown Jewel.
You figure by the direction. Oh, it's Finn and Priest again. Nope.
Nope. Nope. No, not at all. We're just and I think the report from Wrestling Observer newsletter last Friday was Priest and Gunther, they want to do that matchup as Saturday night's main event. So I knew when Dom wins this match here, I was like, oh, so that probably is the plan because that's 2 months away. So they think that they can get Priest's momentum back after this loss.
He'll be in New York, his hometown. So I can see why.
Yeah. Makes sense on a number of different levels.
Probably
But
starting the show though. Well, I don't know if they want to. Do they want to give away like Roman or Cody in the beginning or the end? Like Tony Khan.
well, I
did,
think
like,
I think the match they're discussing with Cody is Cody and Kevin Owens.
Yeah. I wonder if you would put your hottest stuff at the beginning because it's such a like. What time of that Saturday night main event thing? Is that like a
It's
10 or
8
11
p.m. Eastern.
Oh, it's at 8. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, 8 p.m. Eastern. But we shall see what goes down there. But let us know in the chat what you think. Thank you so much, everyone who sent us super chat donations today. It was a good day when it comes to that. So final call for super chat donations. And of course, you know the deal, what we do here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. Let us know your match of the night, your MVP, your LVP, whether you gave the show a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle, and out of 10, what did you give the show? For me and Romeo for the October 28, 2024 edition of Monday Night Raw in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I'll go thumbs up. I'll go thumbs up this week. I would say a low 7 out of 10 for me. Mostly because the Bloodline were very entertaining.
Oh, yes.
I think there was 2 solid to good matches with Sheamus and Kaiser and the 3-way tag team matchup and the very fun Seth Rollins versus Bronson Reed. If it was just those segments on a 3-hour show, this would be a thumbs in the middle type of show. But on a 2-hour show, that's most or half of the show. That's a thumbs up for me.
Love these 2-hour shows. Oh, please don't ever go away. 7.2 for me. We agree on mostly the same things.
Fair. Well, we don't agree with the chat, apparently. Eric Isaac says 6 out of 10, thumbs sideways. We got Power Driver Finisher who says mid. He gives it a 5 out of 10. You guys are harsh, damn.
Very, very
Y'all,
harsh.
y'all not
Bad
into
mood.
y'all not into the Bloodline as much as me and Romeo.
Come on, guys. And what it's cinema. Cinema.
Okay.
Look at this storytelling.
This
Should
is
win
when
an
this
Emmy.
is when you kill it. This is when you kill it for people.
This
When you
writing.
when you say stuff like that.
Executive producer Paul Levesque and Lee Fitting. Give those guys an award. Emmy. Submit this episode.
Why does he have to keep going? Why
For your
does he have to
consideration.
keep going? Power Driver Finisher says not actively bad, but didn't look like much effort. It just existed.
No.
Okay, so if you want to, I am grading it. I am grading this week on just a episode of Monday Night Raw because we had those 2 bad weeks of the 2-hour programs from 2 weeks ago and 3 weeks ago. But if I was grading this on a go home show, then yeah, it's probably a thumbs in the middle. Probably thumbs in the middle because I don't think they did anything besides the angle with Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins to make you want to watch the show on Saturday.
No, you know how Triple H is with these go-home shows. The show's already sold. They're going to watch anyways. They're going to watch on Peacock.
He's like, you're going to watch on the cock. But what did you give the match of the night to? Yeah.
Triple threat tag team.
Easy match of the night for me. War Raiders versus LWO versus New Day. That was a fun three-way match, despite the crowd being relatively quiet for it. I think they had already killed the crowd with the first hour of the show. And who was your MVP for this episode?
What an episode for Jey Uso. One of his best episodes ever. Great effort by him. The acting was off the chart. Top notch. Best he's probably ever done. Really good stuff.
I'm gonna go co-MVP for Jey Uso and Sami Zayn. The honorary Uso and Jey Uso really made me back engaged on some Bloodline content. Now give me Bloodline content on Raw and SmackDown every week, and I will be more invested in the programs. And who was your LVP for the show, Romeo?
As usual, Adam Pearce is absolutely one half of the LVPs. This guy's always calling for medical, chastising the other GM when he's the one who should be chastising himself. And I gotta add the Miz, especially after learning he died, got killed by the Wyatt Six. He's probably dead. Definitely, yeah.
I'm gonna go co-LVP to The Miz and the Judgment Day Saints Dominic. Dominic avoided getting LVP because he got the win. But man, I don't think the Judgment Day has been this cold since they started. When they started and they weren't doing so well. After they excommunicated Edge from the group and they were just losing every month on pay-per-view. This is the worst that the Judgment Day has felt, as well as far as momentum and heat from the crowd, because the main event didn't get the big reactions we were getting for Damian versus Judgment Day even 2 months ago. So it just feels like the Judgment Day is very stale and cold right now.
Any other week, Dominic would have got an easy MVP, but Jey Uso was just so much better. And is it a coincidence that you're saying that about the Judgment Day? And it's like the Bloodline has invaded Raw, and now they're the top guys of Raw on Judgment Day show. Is that a coincidence?
I mean,
are the two related?
I mean, it could be a little bit related.
You're getting
I don't
overshadowed
know.
by the Bloodline. You're getting overshadowed by the other guys, the SmackDown guys.
Remember when people were saying that I was one of the people actually who was saying the Judgment Day is the bloodline of Raw? Yeah, I was saying this in August. This was just in August.
Yeah.
How did we get here?
They're doing very similar storyline too, with dissension and all that.
Yeah.
But now they're taking a back. You're gonna take a back seat to the Bloodline. Always, Bloodline's number one.
Yeah. All right, Romeo. That brings us to the end of our Rated Raw review. Let everybody know where they can follow you on social media and when they will see you again.
Romeo Damas on all social media. I don't know if there will be a watch party for Crown Jewel on Saturday. It's the love of my life's birthday. I don't think I'll get away with that.
Oh, happy birthday!
I don't think I'll get away with doing that watch along unless we have other plans that don't involve the early afternoon, but we'll see. And is this going to be our new time for Rated Raw review?
I don't mind. I don't mind.
During people's lunch hour? Well, we got to cut this short. We got to be done by 1 p.m. So people will watch us on their entire lunch break.
No, they can listen to the back half, while they start work. Because you even after you do your lunch break, you don't really get back into the motion of working again until like 30 minutes. It takes you like 30 minutes to get back. Unless you got like a project that you got a time on or something.
Don't let Sports Illustrated hear that, pal.
Fair.
I saw that list. I saw the only woman that was on that list. What a joke. Are you kidding me? Becky Lynch over Charlotte Flair. Are you kidding me? Charlotte Flair made Becky Lynch. There is no Becky Lynch without Charlotte Flair.
Who was the number one star in the company? Was Charlotte ever the number one star in the company to anyone outside of you? Becky Lynch was the number one star in the company in 2019.
Accomplishments
so that's why
have to matter too.
No, the biggest criteria that I did was importance and legacy to WWE. So that's why Becky Lynch made the list.
Yeah, but just like you don't have a Hulk Hogan without a Bruno Sammartino, You don't have a Becky Lynch without a Charlotte Flair. She paved the way. She paved the way.
Hey, if Sports Illustrated wants me to do a top 25, then Charlotte can get in there.
25.
If they want me to do 5 more people, add 5 more people to the list, Charlotte Flair would make it. Maybe even Seth Rollins would make it. Definitely, I would have to put in Bryan Danielson. I didn't put Bryan Danielson into the top 20. If that's not me being unbiased, I don't know what is.
Well, that's right. You got that right. He needed more longevity. Yeah, he shouldn't be on there.
I was quite surprised. I just got informed that Hurricane commented on the list. Like a couple of different wrestlers commented on. He said he can't agree with the list because Ric Flair isn't on it. But I'm just like, dude, Ric Flair was only in WWF or was only considered a top 2, top 3 guy in WWF for 1 year in '92. Yeah. What are you even talking about?
list.
Yeah, it's not the greatest wrestlers of all time. It would be a much different list if it was that. It's the greatest WWE wrestlers of all time.
Rick goes on the WCW list, not WWE.
Yes. Or the greatest wrestlers list. He would be on.
Yeah, I have a stronger case, Hurricane, Charlotte Flair, than Ric Flair.
But check out the
Flair's
takedown.
Getting screwed out of SP3's list. Go figure.
Check out the takedown on SI YouTube channel, because me and Dario Figueroa are going to be talking about that list, the reaction to it, as well as his feedback on my list. So you could check that out over there. You can follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. Follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at True Hill Heat. You already got people talking, Power Drive Finish, talking in the chat. He says, and Becky put people over after she was a bigger draw. See? Right here. Right here.
None of this happens, Pile Driver, without Charlotte first making Becky. Hello? She's not doing this on her own.
Hey, but you're saying, oh, would it be a Bruno without Hulk Hogan? I have Hogan above Bruno.
Yeah, okay. Well, what's more impressive though? Becky making Liv Morgan or Charlotte making Becky Lynch? What's more impressive?
Becky also helped make Bianca, to be fair.
You think so?
Yeah.
I'll give her 100% credit. She made Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan is a whole different wrestler now.
I'll give Charlotte Flair credit for Rhea Ripley.
Absolutely. Oh,
yeah.
Can't forget that.
So, like I said, sometimes you can make somebody and then they wind up ahead of you. I think that Shawn Michaels is responsible for helping make Triple H, but I have Triple H ahead of him. And mainly, if you read the article, the reason why I have Triple H so high is what he has done post-career with becoming the head of creative.
Yeah, that kind of helps.
That kind of helps your legacy and your importance to the company. I'm just saying, like, I took a 100% bias out of it. That's why Hogan's in the top 2. If it was up to me, I said it once, I'll say it again. It's up to me, Hogan wouldn't have made the list.
Man.
And also Brock. Brock was a big omission on my part. I will give myself grace on that because maybe some of my bias against some of the things that we learned about him. He probably should be in the top 20 for sure.
Is there anybody with double-digit title wins that was not on that list besides Charlotte Flair and Ric Flair?
Charlotte and Brock were the only 2.
Yeah.
And Ric Flair.
Double-digit title wins should land you a spot
in WWE.
Automatically, yes, automatic.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Like the top 10 were all my top 10 because I originally just did top 10. They were all guys that were faces of the promotion for multiple years. And you can't say that about Charlotte Flair. Can't say that about Ric Flair. Like I said, Brock Lesnar is the only guy.
Women's division, Charlotte Flair.
But she wasn't. Becky Lynch was the #1 star in the promotion in 2019.
Okay, but she was the face of the women's division. So she was a top woman for years. The top woman. We could argue about this all day, but we got to go.
I know. We got to go. Sign it up. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I will be back live here tomorrow. I believe going to be 2:05 p.m. Eastern time with our good friend Maggie of Fightful Overbook, coexisting with Rob and Maggie. She'll be joining me for our WWE Crown Jewel 2024 preview. So join us live for that. We got AE Ramble on Thursday. We'll be dropping our NJPW Power Struggle preview on Friday. And of course, you got Saturday. We'll definitely be doing a Crown Jewel review. And then Sunday, the True Hill Heat flagship podcast. So join us live for a great week on True Hill Heat. But for Romeo, it is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3. This has been Rated Raw Review number 41, You're Not Family, for the October 28th, 2024 edition of Monday Night Raw. We are signing off until next time.